Today we're going to talk about simple photo editing in iPhoto. This particular picture was actually taken with a point and shoot camera set on macro setting. A lot of times people, including clients that have come to me, will take a lot of their own imagery with standard commercial gear. And yes, while higher end gear can often give you bells and whistles that will produce a better quality photo right off the bat, the gear isn't the thing that matters most. It's mostly technique, and technique with the actual videography and photography of something, and also knowing what tools you have available to you and your ability to use them right there on your computer to edit the image. So that's what we're going to look at today. So we've got a portion of a necklace that I photographed, again using just a point and shoot camera on macro setting, and I had 2 floor lamps, each of them with 3 canisters on them with your standard energy efficient bulbs. And you can see that it yielded a clear picture, but not a very vivid one. So I'm going to go in here, I'm in iPhoto and I've brought it up, and I'm going to click the edit button. And first I'm going to crop it because there's some stuff in here I really don't need. And I want to crop the photo to just about here. And I won't get rid of all of the shadow. But I'll get rid of most of it in the cropping effect. And I'm going to hit apply. I also want to do a little bit of straightening. And I'm more concerned with getting the 3 red beads to align with the bottom edge here. Now I'm going to go into, and I don't have to, the done button is to suggest that I'm done with all of my enhancements, and I'm not. Now I want to try to brighten it and bring out some of the more vivid tones. Now, to keep it really simple, I could just click the enhance button. And it does it for me. And sometimes it does it very well. But if you're still looking at the image and you're not completely satisfied, that's where really going under the hood and working with the manual settings will get your image to exactly where you want it with the right brightness, the right shades of red, green, and blue. I'm adjusting this to be used online, so I'm using an RGB color setting as opposed to the print version of CYMK. So I'm just going to undo this and go into my adjustment settings. And the first things I'm looking at are levels. And you can see these are my blues, reds, and greens here. And I'm going to pull this slider, which brightens up the image as a whole. And this darkens the shadows a little bit over here on the left. And this is going to adjust the overall midtones. I can adjust the exposure, which is how much light is let in and out of the image. And I just want to do a little bit, not too much, or else if you overdo it, then your colors become oversaturated and overexposed and you lose detail. So I want to do just a little bit here, and that might also require that I go back and adjust some of the levels to gain back some of my detail. I want to lighten some of my shadows, which, as you can see, it does bring out some of the detail, but I don't want to overkill it because then it tends to desaturate the image. So there's a fine balance, not necessarily a right or wrong, but just a fine balance with a lot of these settings to bring out the detail and to diminish, bring out the detail where you want it, and then diminish some of the detail where you don't want it. Because you can see in doing a lot of this, we got some great detailing in the beads, And the shadows up here have become a little less and a little less. I can further bring out some of the definition with this slider up here. Now down here, this image doesn't really need it, but sometimes when you photograph or video subjects, depending on the lighting situation that you have, the temperature of it or the tint of it leans a little one way or the other, either towards the yellow, greens, and blues or to the pinks, reds, and oranges. So just for the purpose of showing you what that looks like, I'm going to adjust the temperature slider, and you can see this is giving things a blue, more of a bluish hue. And if I go this way, it gives it more of a yellowish hue. This image was really, didn't really have hue issues, so I really don't need to adjust that at all. But if I did, that's how I would do it to kind of balance out the color. So if something were a little too blue, I'd want to bring the temperature a little more over to the yellow, and then vice versa. So this is basically a done image. I'm happy with it the way that it is. The clarity is good. The colors really pop, and the size of it now with the cropping effect will make a wonderful banner for a jewelry website or a Facebook page or anything like that. And it was done on a very low-end budget. If it's material that a client has on hand, then it's well within their capability to shoot the material themselves and then either send the raw material to a designer or to adjust it themselves with the computer on hand. And then if they have somebody really doing their web design and social media management, send them the finished images to use. It's a great way to take control of some of the marketing in-house and cut down on costs, and then bring in outside design help where it may be really needed. Thanks for watching.